Psychic powers in the Chaos Space Marine Codex seem to be geared towards killing a lot of guys.
A lot of people.
Yeah, like a lot of guys all at once, okay? Yeah. Not the greatest against like one-shot strong characters. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, all right? For example, let's just comb through all of this because this is all goodness, all right? Primaris power, okay, Discipline of Tzeentch. His Primaris power is Tzeentch's Firestorm. 24-inch range, D6 plus 1 strength, AP nothing, Assault 1 blast, Inferno. Inferno is a special rule here, and it says each model removed causes D3 further hits at strength 3 AP nothing. Okay, so 24-inch range, blast, not a bad strength. You're at least a strength of, I guess you're at least a strength of 2, right? But that sucks. But
Weird.
You as in you in general. When I say you from now on, it'll be you in general. Okay, sound good?
Yeah.
All right, awesome, awesome sauce. Okay, so I mean that's okay. You know, it's a blast, so it's a small blast, whatever. So it's not. It'll cover a few guys, and you get to remove more, or not remove more. You get to add more wounds if you actually remove some. So it's okay. I mean, it's not the greatest Primaris power, but it's better than nothing. If you roll a 1 to 2, you get Boon of Mutation, which means that a friendly character, it's a blessing, by the way. Oh yeah, and Tzeentch's Firestorm is a Witchfire. Warp Charge 1. Roll a 1 to 2 is called Boon of Mutation. Warp Charge 1, it's a blessing. So a friendly character within 2 inches takes Strength 4 AP nothing hit, and then rolls on the Chaos Boon table. So that's actually, that's okay. That's only okay. I say it's only okay because if you're in the air and you're flying around and you're not within 2 inches of another character, then that power is wasted.
Yeah, it sucks.
So you could potentially have spent 25 points and got that power and it's wasted. So not the greatest thing. Although the Chaos Boon table is fun, it's you know, it's kind of a trade-off there. I would only go, see that's the problem because when you have when you're a Demon of Tzeentch, you get to re-roll your 1s, your failed saves of any kind when you roll 1s. So that's pretty powerful. So that's the trade-off. You get that really strong ability, which in my opinion is the best of all of the abilities there where the marks give you. So if you want to just have that and just kind of be dealt with anything that you're able to get here. Well, by the way, you have to choose at least 1 here.
1 of the psychic powers?
But the other psychic powers you can choose from. Let me just look that up because.
You want to be accurate?
Yeah, we got to be accurate. Biomancy for sure, because that's the only one that I would ever choose from. Seriously.
Okay. What if you do?
Okay, we got to look up psychers here. Biomancy, pyromancy, and telepathy disciplines. Okay?
Okay.
There you go. So if it's not all from the discipline of one of the Chaos Gods, then choose from Biomancy. Because Biomancy, in conjunction with your monstrous creature, is ridiculous. It really is. It's really, really awesome.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. You don't have to be listening to me. I just like to talk like off of you, just so I don't feel like I'm talking to myself. Because that's, never mind. I do that all the time. It's all good, okay?
All right,
it's all good. It's just fun having you here, sis, okay? Let's go into the next one. If you roll a 3 or 4, you get Doombolt. For those of us who play Chaos, we know that we've heard of that ability before, but Doombolt is slightly different. Warp Charge 1, it's a beam. Oh yeah, by the way, beams suck.
Badly.
Yeah, they're not good. Okay? It's an 18-inch range, Strength 8, AP 1, Assault 1, Detonate. Detonate means that you roll 2d6 for the range of an explosion result on a vehicle instead of d6. Sounds like it's good, but it's a beam. That sucks. That really, really sucks. Okay? So this is how a beam works, all right? Let's say here, 18 inches away, and actually let's put him here, it's better. Oh, look at this, perfect example.
Oh, snap.
All right, and we go right here. Strength 8, hits the first guy, all right, at Strength 8. A guy next to him, he's hit at Strength 7.
Yeah.
Guy next to him hit at strength 6, and so forth all the way down to 0.
Yeah.
If there's a building in the way, that counts as one of the strengths. So if there's a model after it, then he's hit with a strength lower than the building was hit with. If there's a wall, that is also hit. So it's, I mean, here I am complaining because I'm getting all these extra hits, whereas before it was like 1 hit.
Yeah.
So maybe I shouldn't be complaining, but it just seems as though it'd be a lot better if, you know, they just all hit them at the same strength. That'd be incredibly powerful.
That would be.
So maybe now that I verbalize it like that, it's not as bad as it seems, but my initial reaction to that was, man, that sucks.
Whoa.
That was my initial reaction to the beam.
Ridiculous.
So leave a comment, tell me what you think, if you feel the same way about it, if you were disappointed when you saw that. If you roll a 5 or 6, you get Breath of Chaos. It's a warp charge 2, so you need to have at least 2. This would be a Psyker Mastery level 2 to do this, okay? Witchfire, it's a template weapon, strength 1 AP 2, assault 1, corrosion, poisoned 4+. So the strength 1 doesn't really matter so much because it's poison 4+. But it does kind of matter because if you're hitting something and with the poison rule, if you're like equal to or their toughness is equal to the strength, or if it's below, then you get to reroll the wounds that are failed.
Oh, wounds.
The failed 2 wound rolls. That's how you say it properly. I just get it mixed up in my mind. That'll never happen with this because it's strength 1. But the corrosion ability says that vehicles suffer a glancing hit on a d6 roll of 4+, regardless of armor. So that is only okay. And it is AP2. So if you're flaming like a bunch of Terminators before you assault them, then I mean it's not bad, right?
It's not good.
It's not bad. And you can never penetrate the armor of a vehicle, so that AP2 doesn't benefit you, right? Because you can normally add 1 to the result on the table, but since you can only ever glance it, that's useless. So I would say the Discipline of Tzeentch. See, it's so tough. Like I said before, you want to be able to roll those 1s on your failed saves, and so I would say go for it. I would say get Tzeentch, make it a Demon of Tzeentch, choose 1 power here. The one that you want is probably Doombolt. That's probably the one that you want because it's strength 8 AP1 and it can actually, it's 18-inch range, it can do something. That's your best result. If you roll a 3 or 4 on that, then it's good. The Primaris power is also not too bad if you happen to get something else that you don't want, that you figure that you'll never use, right? But Doombolt is your #1 choice in the Discipline of Tzeentch psychic powers. Then from there, go to Biomancy, okay? We're gonna go to Biomancy right now.
Okay.
Okay, just because it's fun. And I want to talk about it because I was really excited looking at this last night because scenarios in my mind were like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. With Biomancy, you have a really good chance of getting something good because a lot of it's good. All right, so I'm just going to go over Biomancy in this because you're going to want to put these particular abilities on your sorcerers and especially your Demon Prince sorcerers because right now we're talking about Demon Princes. Okay. Let's talk about the Primaris power. Warp Charge 1, it's called Smite, and it's Witchfire, and it has the following profile. It's range 12 inches, strength 4, AP2, assault 4. Okay, so the Primaris power is decent. It's not bad. So if you get stuck with something you don't like, you can choose that, so it's okay, right? #1, let's talk about Iron Arm. This ability, if you roll it, keep it, because it's awesome. It's a blessing that targets the Psyker. Okay, that's the type of psychic ability it is. It's a blessing. And whilst the power is in effect, the Psyker gains plus D3 strength and toughness. Roll once for both. And gains the Eternal Warrior special rule. See, now that's a big deal because you want your Demon Prince to be an Eternal Warrior. And it certainly doesn't hurt if he has more strength and more toughness. Heck, if you roll a 1 on your D3 roll for your toughness, then you're going to be at least toughness 6, rather. And you can't be instant killed by any weapon in the game that is not force. Okay? or that causes instant death. So that alone will save you. And adding to your strength is also good. Like, really good. Because if you're vector striking, then you do it at strength higher than strength 6. And so, awesome against even vehicles, right? So, wow. Now, number 2 is called Enfeeble. Enfeeble is a malediction that targets a single enemy unit within 24 inches. Whilst the power is in effect, the target unit suffers a -1 penalty to both strength and toughness, and treats all terrain, even open ground, as difficult terrain. So that's useful. Okay, just picture that for a minute. Flying in the air. Okay. Enfeeble, you just target a unit within 24 inches. They're -1 strength and toughness. Especially if it's against Space Marines.
Yeah.
Because then my other units can charge that unit, and it would be bad for them. Like, really bad. Okay, and it's bad for them even if nothing charges them, because they treat everything as difficult terrain, so they have to, you know, move. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming if you're targeting a unit that's jump infantry, then they treat things, if they move their 12, that's like, you know, dangerous terrain if they land it. That's just my guess. That's probably a pretty accurate guess there, yeah. Number 3, Endurance. Endurance is a blessing that targets a single friendly unit within 24 inches. Whilst the power is in effect, the target unit gains the feel no pain. It will not die in relentless rules. That's a bunch of stuff there, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and it says target unit. So now, for it to be most beneficial, you would probably want to do against, you know, put that up against obliterators or mutilators, because it's multi-wound, right, for the it will not die. I wonder if it you can do vehicles. It says that, doesn't say that you can't, because the it will not die rule also works for vehicles and regaining hull points. Feel no pain on a vehicle, does that work?
Kind of.
Let's say it does. Actually, I would say that it would. Leave a comment, let me know what you think. But for a Forge Fiend and a Mauler Fiend, for example, those new walkers in the Chaos Space Marine Army, they are demons. And as such, they get a 5-up invulnerable save. So if they roll it and fail it, then they can roll for feel no pain also. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you know the answer to this, let me know. But right now, as it stands, I think that's the way it is. I would hope that that's the way it is. And so that would be awesome. But other than that, just to be safe, put it on an infantry type unit. And multi-wound is better. Yeah. So that's not a bad ability. Life Leech, this one is probably the one that's not the greatest. This is where it's a Witchfire power with the following profile. Range 12 inches, strength 6, AP 2, assault 2. And if Life Leech causes at least 1 unsaved wound, the Psyker immediately regains a wound lost earlier in the battle, up to a starting number of wounds. So it's okay, right? It's not bad. It's not bad at all. I would say that if you... You're so funny. What?
Getting good, we'll be back.
Okay. I would say if you roll that, keep that instead of getting the Primaris power, because it's better than the Primaris power. You know, it's the same range. It's a little bit less assault, but the strength is 6 instead of 4. It's still AP 2, and you get to regain a wound that's not bad. Number 5, Warp Speed. This is another one equal to Iron Arm, where if you get it, absolutely take it. Warp Speed is a blessing that targets the Psyker. Whilst the power is in effect, the Psyker gains plus D3 initiative and attacks, roll once for both, and gains the Fleet special rule. So, oh man, picture this guy with plus D3 attacks, okay? And initiative. He's already high initiative. He's initiative 8, so that doesn't matter so much. So it's his attacks. He's base attacks 5. And see, in my mind, I'm thinking, since he's a monstrous creature, he has the option to do smash attacks, okay, which is your attacks that are halved, which goes up to 3. And then he would assault. So it would still be 3, but he gets D3 on top of that. So he gets at least another 1 attack up to a maximum of 3. So he gets more attacks at strength 10, mind you. All right. And AP 2, that's a big deal. So goodbye vehicles and goodbye characters that are toughness 5 or lower and that aren't Eternal Warrior with multiple wounds, because you will instant kill them. Like, that's just an awesome ability. Warp Speed is an awesome ability. Those are my 2 choices. If I could choose and I didn't have to roll, rolling a 1 or a 5 would be the best case scenario. Now, number 6, Hemorrhage. Hemorrhage is a focused Witchfire power with a range of 12 inches. The target must pass a toughness test or suffer a wound with no armor or cover saves allowed. If the target is slain, randomly select another model, friend or foe, within 2 inches of him. That model must pass a toughness test or suffer a wound with no armor or cover saves allowed. If that model dies, continue the process until a model survives or there are no suitable targets within range. Now this is interesting because this psychic ability, called Hemorrhage, and it's spelt different than hemorrhage, but I'm going to say hemorrhage, is very similar to a chaos artifact. That I will look up right now. And it's located on page 69. 69. And this chaos artifact is called the Black Mace. Let me just read this, okay? This is, if you choose to give this to your demon prince, it's 45 points. It's a lot of points, but it's awesome. The strength is the user, so it's strength 6 on this guy, okay? Unless you give him a psychic ability, Iron Arm, and you get to add plus D3 strength to him, so it's just even better. Or you do a smash attack, and it's strength 10. So it's melee. It has a special ability called Cursed. It's a demon weapon, so you get to roll for the amount of attacks you get. You add D6 to your 5, unless you do a smash attack, which would be 3. If you roll a 1, then you don't get, you attack at initiative, at weapon skill 1, rather. You attack weapon skill 1 if you roll a 1 when rolling for how many attacks again for the demon weapon. And it's Fleshbane, so you always wound on a 2-up. Now, Curse, let's read this and see what it says. If a model suffers an unsaved wound from the Black Mace, it must immediately take a toughness test. Ooh, that sounds oddly familiar. If the test is failed, remove the model as a casualty with no armor saves, with no saves of any kind allowed. So this is actually a little bit better than the Hemorrhage ability, because that says armor saves and cover saves, but you can roll invulnerable saves. But this one, no armor saves of any kind allowed. In addition, at the end of the phase in which the Black Mace causes 1 or more unsaved wounds, all non-vehicle enemy units within 3 inches of the bearer, which haven't suffered an unsaved wound from the Black Mace this phase, must take a toughness test. Any models that fail the test suffer a wound with no saves of any kind allowed. Yeah, so the Black Mace is ridiculously awesome. So picture him, okay, picture this. Picture he comes in here, okay? He shoots his ability called Hemorrhage. It hits, actually, yeah, he hits, he targets Abaddon here, okay? And let's say Abaddon fails his Deny the Witch, which you have to kind of keep in mind, but let's say he does fail it. Or it's any guy, rather, not just a guy where he'd be better at denying. So don't target a psyker for this. Target a regular guy, because the likelihood of it happening would be better. So just a regular lord, a regular character, fails to deny the witch. You hit him. He fails his invulnerable save, because you're not allowed an armor save or a cover save. So he's taken out. He is removed.
Uh-oh.
The model dies.
So sad.
Continue the process until a model survives or there are no suitable targets within range. So within 2 inches of him, okay? So you select another one and another one. So if he's around a bunch of guys, then that's good. Okay. Now, since you shot at that unit in the assault phase, you can charge and do your black mace attacks with similar results. So that's pretty awesome. I think that's a pretty awesome ability. Now, I'm just saying that because that would be your close combat. I don't suggest adding the black mace to him if you're going to add 3 psychic powers to him, because you're adding 75 points to his 205 already, making him 280 plus your Mark of Chaos, which is 10 or 15 points. So you're like 290, 295 points for him. But it's just ridiculously awesome, and I want to feel the black mace on my Demon Prince so bad because it's just so much fun. I want to see him tear up some stuff. It's going to be just sick watching it happen and seeing the fear in people's eyes. That's what we want to be doing.
That's fun.
What's up?
Sneaking by.
Oh, okay.
Ripping in books.
Awesome,
Nice.
awesome. So that's, oh, hold on, we didn't finish. Haha, we didn't even finish. We didn't even go over all the rest of the stuff, which we will, because that's what this video is all about. So we're gonna review the discipline of Nurgle now. Okay, so get a load of this. Primaris power, Nurgle's Rot. Some of us know what that is. Warp Charge 1, Nova. That's the type of psychic ability it is. It's a Nova. Novas are cool because they hit you no matter what. They're not negated by line of sight or anything like that. Nurgle models are unaffected. So I'm assuming that all models are affected. And I think they are. In fact, let's look that up here. And I think this is also in, right about this? Yeah, ooh, look at that. Nova. Nova power automatically targets and hits all enemy units within the Psyker's maximum range. Okay, so my friendly units aren't hit. And I guess this is referring to if I'm fighting Chaos Space Marines and I'm trying to hit Nurgle, then it won't work. So, range 6 inches, strength 2, AP 5, assault D6 plus 1, poison 4. So, I mean, it's okay. The range is 6 inches though, so that's, actually it's not even before it was like this aura around him that he can actually still do in close combat, even if he's locked in close combat, but now Nurgle's Rot is not as good as it used to be, because you get D6 plus 1 attacks with it, and that's not as good, because before, if you're fighting against a horde, that was just fun to watch. Yeah. Yeah, not as good. So I would say that if you get any of the, if you roll on the table here and you get any of the other abilities, choose those instead of the Primaris power, because you will, I don't ever see Nurgle's Rot being better than the other ones, which I'll go through right now. If you roll a 1 or 2, you get this ability called Weapon Virus. It's Warp Charge 1, it's a malediction. I like those because they target enemy units and it makes them suffer.
Yes.
A single enemy unit within 24 inches gets hot on all ranged weapons. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Pretty cool, man.
Yeah. If you roll a 3 to 4, Gift of Contagion. It's a Warp Charge 1 malediction. An enemy unit within 48 inches rolls on the table below. Okay, you roll a D3. And these are the diseases that are granted. Number 1, Fly-Blown Palsy. It's -1 attack, and they get shrouded. So that kind of sucks, because shrouded is a good ability. So if you're trying to shoot at them, it gives them +2 to their cover save. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's not good. It really isn't. But are you using super glue for this?
Am I not supposed to?
Yeah, use plastic glue.
You never told me.
Well, I never, sure, you've been like putting these guys together for years. You just did that to make me laugh. That's a funny joke.
Did I mess up?
No, you didn't mess up. Is that the only thing you've glued so far?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's good, because then you can use plastic glue on all the rest. Because that might actually come off. Plastic glue melts it together and you need the jaws of life to get it apart.
Oh.
Yeah, it's okay, don't worry about it. You're still my sister, I still love you, don't worry.
I'm sorry.
You're all good, all right. Okay, so If you roll a 2, muscular atrophy. It's -1 strength and it may not run, so that's not bad. And liquefying ague. -1 strength, -1 toughness, so that's not bad. Okay, so Gift of Contagion, it's more of a fun ability, and the good thing about this is that it's an enemy unit within 48 inches. So they can be pretty darn far away. If you roll a 5 or 6, you get Plague Wind. Plague Wind is fun. Warp Charge 2, Witchfire. It's range 12 inches, strength 1, AP 2. Assault 1, Large Blast, poison +4. So the thing I like about this is that it's a large blast. Okay, and it's AP 2. So that will take down anything, really. Okay? Because it's poison +4, so it's basically you're rolling 4s, no matter what you're hitting. So that's not bad. If you take the Mark of Nurgle, which gives you Shrouded and Slow and Purposeful, and Hatreds to Demons of Tzeentch. Now going back to the psychic powers, last one, Discipline of Slaanesh. Let's talk about the Primaris power here. Sensory Overlord. Warp Charge 1, it's a Witchfire. Its range is 24 inches. Strength 4, AP 4. Assault 4, Blind, Concussive, Pinning. So blind, you take an initiative test. If you fail, you're reduced to weapon skill, ballistic skill 1 until the end of that turn. So that's not bad. Concussive means that you attack at initiative 1 if you're hit by it. And pinning just means that you have to go to ground, and it limits your options. Let's just put it that way. Okay, so the Primaris power is actually not that bad. You know, 24-inch range, that's not bad. If you roll a 1 or 2, you get Hysterical Frenzy. This is a Warp Charge 1 Blessing. A friendly non-vehicle unit within 12 inches rolls on the table below. So many tables here. This is like, it makes it almost hard for you to be able to do it quick, like to learn it like quick, because in gameplay, if you have Psychers and they have abilities, you're going to be referencing stuff a lot, at least at first, because for you to remember all this stuff, it'll take a while. Yeah. Hysterical Frenzy. And this is the table. If you roll a 1, Swollen Sensorium. You get +1 initiative. If you roll a 2, Lunatic Strength, +1 strength. 3, Hyperactive Fit. You get +1 attack. So, I mean, that's not bad, right? Buffing your guys is always a good thing. It might make Fabius Bile jealous because he's not in the battle and you get to buff him in other ways, but that's just too bad. If you roll a 3 or 4, this is called a Symphony of Pain. Symphony of Pain. Warp Charge 1, Malediction. I love Maledictions. I love targeting enemy units and making them suffer. That's just what I love. An enemy unit within 24 inches is at -1 weapon skill and -1 ballista skill. Any sonic weapon attacks against the unit are resolved at +1 strength. So, this is most useful if you are fielding Noise Marines and you have your Blast Masters and your sonic weaponry armed on your guys, and you're planning on shooting that unit with your Noise Marines, like right after you get them with this ability. So the chances of that happening is rare, because let's say you do have a Noise Marine army, okay? Emperor's Children army. And let's say that you do have a sorcerer, not just the Demon Prince, but a Sorcerer of Chaos with the Mark of Slaanesh. I'll call it the Mark just for ease of words. And you happen to get that one Symphony of Pain ability. And the models are lined up in such a way where you actually get to fire that 24-inch Malediction psychic power at that enemy unit. And they fail, they're denied the Witch roll. And they're at -1 ballista skill and strength. And you happen to shoot, and you're within range of your sonic weapons on your Noise Marines. You're within range, and you fire at them. That would be good.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff that needs to line up in order for that to happen. So Yeah, the only way where I would give the Discipline of Slaanesh, the Mark of Slaanesh, onto my Sorcerer would be if I was fielding Noise Marines. That's the only way. Because otherwise, that ability there, half of it's neutered. Yeah, I'll just say that. And the chances of you rolling and getting that ability are like 1 in 3, right? Last one, 5 to 6. Ecstatic Seizures. Okay, this is Warp Charge 2. And the reason why it's Warp Charge 2 is because it's pretty brutal. Which is, it's fun. I mean, if you get your Slaanesh guys, and Slaanesh is much better than it used to be, by the way. I always rag on Slaanesh, and I think it's dumb and all that, but it's actually much better now than it used to be. 24-inch range. The strength is special, and you'll see why in a second. The type is Assault 1, and then the other special rule is Ecstasy. So this is what Ecstasy means. Every non-vehicle model in the target unit takes a hit at its own strength.
That's nice.
See, this is where you target units of Terminators against themselves. Like, that would be fun. And because it's 24 inches away, you get to possibly do this to multiple units before you get into close combat. It's just fun. So, if you choose Slaanesh, just know that you're going to see stuff like guys attacking themselves because you make them attack themselves, or one unit a little bit debuffed, -1 Bliss skill, weapon skill, +1 string sonic blaster weapons, I guess it, and you get to buff one of your units. If you like that, and you have the possibility of getting that, then choose Slaanesh. But I'm still just going to have to go with Tzeentch. Out of these 3, I would go with Tzeentch because I want to be able to re-roll my 1s. All because of that. That trumps everything. Because if you think about it, it all comes down to this one guy. This one guy that has the ability. If he's dead, then nothing else here matters. And so to keep him alive as long as possible, it's a pretty important thing. And the amount of 1s that you roll is a big deal. Especially if you give him power armor. So if you're being hit with a lot of weapons, like that's a 1 in 3 chance that you'll die, that you'll lose wounds. Not die, but you lose wounds. Whereas if you have Tzeentch, then it's like a 1 in 6 chance that it's like better. Yeah, it's like a 1 in 6. Then it's a 1 in 3. So what are those chances? I don't know. It's something. Yeah, it's something a lot better. So. Those are my thoughts on that. Biomancy, choose that. Okay, Mark of Tzeentch and Biomancy. There you go, okay? I could have said that at the very beginning without this long explanation, but I didn't want to because this is important. This needs to be explained.